those are some great questions. Gets the brain churning. I don't
Churning like butter.
know.
My brain has been churned.
Ew, I think I just hate the word churn now.
I know people talk about like moist and like squeegee being gross words. I'm sorry, have you heard the word
No.
churn?
Churn.
It's like
Churning.
chewing urn.
Can somebody tell Tex and Lumi to start their fucking podcast? Okay, now that we're all preset Maget, you know what I'm saying? We can start the khils.
Well, if it isn't my beautiful sister.
Well, if it isn't my beautiful sister. Hello.
Welcome to the Extra Friends podcast. My name is Texaroni.
I am Lumi. And this is episode... Oh, what episode are we on? This is 5. This is episode 5. And welcome to Extra Friends.
Beep, 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 beep,
beep. But before we start talking, just wanted to let you know that only a small person... What am I doing?
No, you can't do the bit. You can't redo the bit for the first fucking episode.
No, okay, but this time we actually have analytics. We can put it in.
This time it makes sense.
This time it's funnier. We could show all the 9 people who aren't subscribed that have watched our shows consecutively that they're not subscribed.
We can guilt your people into watching more than 19% of the videos we've been posting.
By the way, if you did not see episode 3 yet, or 4.
4 is a doozy.
3 was funny.
3 was hilarious, but 4 is a doozy.
4 is a doozy. Great talk. Go watch it. It'll pop up at some time. Just watch closely at the still image that we keep up the entire video. You gotta click it as soon as it pops up. It's gonna pop up for like 0.2 seconds, and then you gotta click it.
You gotta click it. We're not gonna give you an option.
It's like a reward.
It's like a reward. He like swallows before he says it too. He goes, "It's like a reward."
It's like a reward.
Did you know that was from Inglourious Bastards?
I didn't know where that was from until I saw a clip from it. Because people on TikTok like to ruin the bit by showing where original videos come from.
Is it ruining, or is it just giving it its
putting a name to the name?
Putting a name to the name of the game. ABBA. That's what the song's called, right? It's the name for your games, please.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's.
I'm pretty sure it was. I wrote that song. It's fine. That's like my favorite part of the bits, though, is finding where they come from and then hearing them then in their original setting and having no context does not make sense anymore because now it's just a bit in my brain.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
It's like a reward.
It's like a reward.
I love that bit. This is our first time we're doing Duocast, which is actually kind of cool. We wanted to give the boys a break because after you've been with us for long enough, you need one. I'm totally kidding. No, we think it'd be kind of cool because since, the whole bit of the podcast was for us to make one together and then we kind of invited in our friends to be a part of it, again, that parasocial relationship. I was like, no. The whole bit was for us to do it ourselves too at some point. And so I was like, we're going to call it Duos, still Extra Friends, still on the same channel, but we're going to be it's just going to be me and... Oh, shit. Lumi!
It's me and my beautiful sister.
It is me and my beautiful sister.
Which is cool because this is originally both of our podcasts,
It's our brainchild. It's our brain baby.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much for being along with us and joining the ride.
Thanks so much for being alive. I really appreciate it. I'm sure other people do too.
You. But anyway, it's just going to be me and Tex, which is fun because we've got a little bit of activity to do.
Yeah, we figured since it's the two of us, we would do something a little bit different where we have like a preset amount of questions that I done pulled up. So I use these questions in my therapy sessions that I do with my kiddos. I also do it with adults too. Honestly, they're just really good questions. But there's this game you can buy on Amazon. Jeffrey Bezos. You did
If you want to
it.
support him.
If you want to support, he's really struggling in these hard times.
He needs it.
Jeffrey Bezos, out of all of us, I mean, he's hardworking man. He deserves this. So on Amazon, for just 13 easy payments of $19.99.
99 99
for if you wanted to do something like this. There's a therapy game you can buy off of Amazon called Totika. It's like its own company, and they do like a Jenga game, and they do like a dice rolling game. I have the dice one because a lot of the kiddos that I have sometimes aren't very, or working on like gross motor skills. So the giant fuzzy dice is fun to play with. And so we'll like throw the dice around, and then whatever color it lands on, you get a certain question. The questions are really solid though. They're about self-esteem and like building up like your person, but they're also just really good interview questions. Like outside of context, if you want to get to know somebody, if you want to make them fall in love with you, you can ask them these questions.
Them fall in love with you.
It's like a potion, but worse.
It's like a reward.
It's like a reward. It's just one of those cool opportunities to get to know a little bit more. And honestly, even though we're sisters by blood, some would say, there's still so much I learn about you all the time, Lumi, that I think is just so interesting. So I wanted to do that with you today. And if you guys want to answer the questions, do it with me.
Do it. Right. And you guys don't really know us either. So it's like our pre-Q&A.
Yeah, it's like we're doing a pre-Q&A to your Q&A. And if you want to answer these questions in the comments, you're more than welcome to. I really love these questions because they're just
deep questions.
Yeah, I was doing this. Sure, funny story about this. I was doing this exact set of cards with like an 11-year-old, a 6-year-old, and like their mother. And the very first question he pulls was, "If you only had 6 months left to live." I'm so sorry. I'm like, well, if you had 6 months left of like good quality time, what would you like? I had to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was like, ooh, yikes. And this is the first time I was meeting this family too. So it was just like, it was weird. But the point of the questions is to get people to open up and be a little bit more open than just like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite anime character? Mine's SpongeBob. You know what I mean? Like you can be a little bit more detailed with these questions.
We could do some of those at some point. If y'all have any questions for us, like that, like what's your favorite SpongeBob house is?
Mine's The Rock Johnson.
You can ask us those questions too. We want to be a lot more active on like Twitter, and I started a TikTok,
which is
so
hilarious.
You can watch some of our funny bits, and you can read them too at the same time.
You ever read and watch funny bits?
I'm just uploading some of our funny bits, so that's there. What else? What else are we on?
We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram at Extra Friends Podcast. Instagram and then Twitter at _ Extra Friends _ and then TikTok Extra Friends Podcast. We're everywhere. Some of it's repost pasta, which is okay. But I do want to get some more original stuff out there. And these are some really good questions for that, which I think would be kind of cool. So Totika is the game that it's the name of the game. And that's what we're going to be kind of playing through today. But we don't have the dice to share because we're in 2 different locations. Also, we didn't check in. Do you want to do like a quick little quickie guy?
Let's do that before we get into the game.
I'm a medium energy and I am comfortable.
Nice.
My roses are I took the day off of work yesterday because I was really sick, like really sick. And then I woke up today and I was like, kind of sick, whatever, but I still got a lot done, so that was nice. And then Thorns being still looking for our baby, housekeeping. Bear is still missing, so we gotta I have a grown bear in my backyard and he's gone rogue. My grown ass black bear is gone. No, my cat bear is still missing, so we're still looking for him. But I have a good feeling that he's just around. Cats do that. They're weird. That's where I'm at. Lumi, go ahead.
I'm at high energy. I threw up.
I
now I feel much better.
Now I'm low energy. I have to get that out of my system.
What is it? Comfortability. I feel great. Yeah, I feel good. I feel very euphoric right now. I took a shower.
Is that your rose and thorn?
No. That was just my thorn. I'm kidding. Oh, my rose. Okay. It's been an exciting week. That's a rose. I feel like I had something specific and I don't remember at this point. I just like being here. I like doing the podcasts. I felt more and more serious about doing them, and I don't know. It's a joy to think of my Thursdays and being spent with my friends and you guys. So that's a rose. And my thorn.
Is you froed up in the kitchen?
I froed up in the kitchen. um, no, my thorn is I don't think I have a thorn. So
That's
we
okay.
we good.
We'll take no thorns. Let's go ahead and get started with our first question.
Okay. Who's this for?
Lumi. This is gonna be
Oh, me.
either we can do both of us, or you can answer it if it's a solid answer. I don't want to rain on your parade, so we can either both answer them, or you can answer them. And I can pick and choose what I want to answer. I can read the questions ahead of time. I'm cheating.
Okay. Go ahead.
What makes you unique or special?
I feel like we've done this one.
No, never.
Okay. What makes me unique and special? I lost my notepad that had the answer. I'm kidding. I remember I talked about something similar to this. If this wasn't the same question, I think that what makes me unique and special, I've been able to appreciate it about myself more recently because I'm trying to be a more understanding person. I'm trying very hard. I used to have a very small, like, my patience was thin, and I was very irritable is a really good word for how I felt a lot of the time, like growing up, which I feel like a lot of teenagers will feel because that's just part of the angst. But more recently, I've been like, okay, I want to understand how people feel instead of being upset, even if it's people that I feel like I 100% like do not agree with. I want to try to see how they feel. So I think what makes me special is I'm trying really hard to keep that state of mind and really, take everything that people say with a grain of salt. Like some people will be very harsh about something and I'm like, okay, I get it. I feel like it could be said differently, but at the same time you feel the way you feel about something and people's opinions change all the time. That's why I'm just like, okay, I want to be more open-minded because I only wish that people would have the same feelings for me. So I think that's a cool skill that it takes people a very long time to acquire.
And you done did it at the ripe age of 13.
At 13, thank God I did it on my 13th birthday. It's my birthday today. I'm kidding. It's not.
And then unique and special about me is my tits. I'm just kidding. What if that was
Easy
it?
peasy. There
Easy
you go.
peasy. I'll do a quickie, boy, because yours was really solid. I really like that your answer was about that. One unique and special thing about me, I would say, is that I actually don't know. I was gonna bring something up about video games. Like when I'm good at video games, I'm like fucking good at video games,
That's true.
which is kind of a cool thing, I guess. I mean, that's a thing. I also have a really good eye for color.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's not nearly as impressive as like I went through a life-changing journey. And I'm doing, which is, I mean, all these things that you mentioned are like really true, and I'm seeing you go through those changes, and it's been such a pleasure, such an honor to watch you go through that and have you share those things with me, Lumi. That's been so fun to
Mhm.
watch.
It's fun.
Um,
It makes me feel better.
yeah.
So,
And that's the
yeah.
thing too is when you learn to really love other people, you truly love yourself. I love the mindset of like you can't love anybody until you love yourself fully, and I think that's totally okay, but that puts in the precedent that you are not allowed to fully love someone else without doing that work, because we're all going to be on a journey to love ourselves the most, right? So
Right.
what's the point of withholding the love you know you can give because of the fact that you're not a full person yet? Well, newsflash, we're never going to be full people. That's the whole bit about life, is that we're going to be constantly growing. And the moment you think you're done, you failed, because you should always be growing. So,
Right. Also, I'd like to say that
yeah.
The Love You Think You Can Give is my favorite rom-com.
The love I thought about once giving is my favorite Christmas romance on TLC.
TLC, they're both ice skaters.
One's a figure skater and
But
one's
they're
like
also
a hockey player.
turkeys. Oh.
They're Christmas turkeys.
The love I thought I once giving.
It's a Thanksgiving love movie. That's great. Oh, I have one more unique thing. Sorry, I just thought about it. I have synthenesia.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah, synthenesia is a actually not as rare of a brain thing as people like to think it is. I mean, it's pretty rare for like the population, I guess, to be diagnosed with it.
I feel like you're saying.
But what? That is
Sorry.
not unique. My unique name is not unique.
No.
What?
We have some ghost listeners, and they're being little shits and texting things or typing things while we're talking. And one of them said, it means that she can smell colors. Like,
I mean, that's one of them. One of the synthenesia types is that. So synthenesia.
oh, is that true?
Yeah, so synthenesia is when you can
now I feel like a
experience
jerk.
one of you are. I'm just kidding. No, synthenesia is when you can experience, and this is might not be the actual definition of it. This is just what I understand of it. Is when you experience two different senses that are unrelated together. So like people can smell
Oh.
colors, or people can like when they hear people's names, they can taste certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Mine specifically is if I see words or names, I can put it to a color. So like everybody's name and their person has a color. And I've only met a few true colors in my life where like their name and their personality and their online personas and all of them, they all match the same color. One of them is Wagon, actually. We haven't met Wagon yet on the podcast, but she's a true blue. Her name is blue. Her online persona is blue. Her person in real life is blue. So I see people in color.
That's really cool.
I'm the opposite of colorblind people. We're like, I don't see colors. Like I only see color. I can't get away from it. So that's unique and kind of cool.
What is my color?
Lumi, like the name Lumi is
I
like
guess it's different from my name, huh?
It is. So Lumi is like a periwinkle purple. Like it's almost like a lilac or like almost a pinky purple, but it's not. It's like kind of softer. And then Lumi, the icon is the purple of your skin because I created that color. And then your actual name, blank, some would call you blank. Your actual name has always been like a deep burgundy red.
Whoa.
Although the other alternative spellings of your name are green. So, and your person, you as a person are like a like a mauve pink. So all your names and your person are different colors. And some of them are associated with things that exist. You know what I mean? Like if you like apple is red, because you designate like things have colors, your that's like already in mind's eye kind of thing. But my brain does it with everything. It can be very distracting sometimes.
I love that.
It's really cool though, like because of my job, I'm essentially a telemarketer where I call people all day and I can remember their sound of their voices to colors and I remember their backgrounds and their stories because of what color I have in my mind for them. So that's kind of cool. I wasn't actually diagnosed. I found a group of people on the internet that also experienced that and I was like, "Oh, I thought that was just a me thing." But apparently there's a whole group of people that can taste colors and they can smell letters and shit. Like it's really cool. Ooh, here's a good question. Who notices when you do something well?
Who notices when I do something well?
Yeah.
I think you're my number one person for that.
Aw, shucks.
You're always the one who calls it out or at least acknowledges it. Whereas I feel like it's always been an expectation, so it's not as exciting for everyone else. But what they don't know is that the thing that drives me is the praise from other people. And I think the misconception within the way that I was raised is they always thought that not saying something or that being the expectation would have wanted me to strive to be like, well, you're wrong, you see, because I could do whatever. No, that's not how I work. I work best if you say like, "Hey, you're doing really good." I'm like, "Tee, okay, I do better." Like that's how I am as a person. So, and I think you're the person who does that for me the most.
Oh.
So it always means a lot when you say something about it, because I'm like, oh, does that mean she's actually acknowledging it?
Yeah. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Loche is my person, man. One of the things that made me fall for Loche when we first met, because we met while we were boxing. And when you're a singular female presenting person in a male dominated anything, you get a lot of weird attention. And some of it's positive, some of it's like unwarranted. And one of the things that made Loche stand out to me was that his interaction with me was purely based on skill. It goes purely based on, oh, you're doing this right, but let's try this. There was no alternative notion. There was no deeper meaning outside of just, oh, you're a cool person. You like what I like. I did this for a while. You haven't done this for as long. I'm going to show you. And he genuinely like enjoyed being with me as a person. And you can tell when people are in it for that reason, you kind of sense that presence. So when I met Loche and we started kind of sort of dating, we didn't really make it official until like a month into us doing that often, where we would talk a lot. He would just notice these really cool things that I've never noticed about myself, or like I wanted people to notice about me. Like one of the things that I like to stand by is like my integrity. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to fucking do it because I said it. Or if
Mm-hmm.
I, promise to myself that I'm going to think more positively or that I'm going to act a certain way, like I try my hardest for all my ability to do that. And I think most people do too. Everyone's doing the best they can with the tools they have. But then Loche just out of nowhere would tell me, like, he's like, you hold true. Like your integrity is very high. And like I know when you say you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it. I think I got that from dad. Like he just notices these things. He told me today that he was proud of me for doing this podcast. And like, I mean, I'm proud of us for doing it because this has been our brainchild for years. But for him to just off the cuff, not even know I'm thinking about stuff, him just say it just reminds me why we're together. Because like he's just so
Mm-hmm.
supportive. I love that. How important is being popular to you? These are tough fucking questions, dude.
That's
these
a
are
very
these
tough
are so
question.
hard, man.
Because I feel like important implies the wrong
Well, that's your
reasons.
perception. See, this is why they ask questions like that.
Right, perception. So for me, if there's any reason why I'd want to be well known or popular, it's because this sounds so like, oh, look at me, I'm a martyr, hee hee. It's not like that. But if there's any reason why I felt the need to be well known and for people
Mhm.
to know me, it's because I want to be someone to look up to, or someone that I wish I had such a similar experience. And I could just be like, okay, they did this, they can do this, I can do this, and everything's gonna be okay. I don't even know how else to explain it. That's just how I feel about it. It's not important to be popular. I don't care if people like me and I get the attention. The attention is not what I
Right.
want. I like the attention if it's all positive and if it's like, hey, you helped me for the better, for whatever. That's the type of person I want to be. I always want to be someone who people feel safe around and with who they feel valid around. That's just
Mhm.
me. If it's a popularity in that sense, let's say like I happen to blow up in a sense like that because people think I'm a genuine person and they feel like, we can connect on those personal things that are
Mhm.
important to us, then that's amazing. But I'm never gonna be like, man, I wish I was whatever. Like, I don't care. I think the best way to describe it is, this brings me back to theater. My theater teacher, he is awesome. He's so cool. He was telling me that his big thing about being in theater was because he knew at least one little kid in theater would be inspired by something that they watched. If you put all your effort into it, and you had fun and you did something because you actually enjoyed it, someone in the crowd will be genuinely in
I
awe by
love
it.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Popularity is such a weird concept. It's like how we measure success.
Mm-hmm.
It's how we measure our person. It goes back to that integrity question. It's like if a tree falls in a forest and no one hears it, did it actually fall? Did it actually happen? If you're standing up for what you believe in, but no one's there to follow you and support you in that, then are you actually being integral? And we
Mm-hmm.
use popularity as a metric for whether or not we've done a good job, that we've left an impact. But you're exactly right. if we're changing at least one person's life, that it's there. That's what it is. And I think when we think of popularity, especially like in the high school, college era of schooling, and where you're via proxima with people of your age group and your peer group, popularity means that much because we're worried about that impact. For very, very, very many years, I struggled with the fear. My deepest fear, getting fucking deep. My deepest fear ever is oblivion, right? Is dying one day and nobody remembering who I am and not doing anything to change anything or leave an impact, leave a legacy. That was my biggest fear for a very long time. And a lot of it came from that idea of, because I wasn't popular. There's people that I went to school with for 12 years, and I would walk up to them and be like, I don't know who you are. Like, it did not dawn on me. I spent several years in a relationship where, like, it did not matter if I was there. You know what I mean? Like, it did not change one thing or another if I was there or not. And so it was a very scary idea to think that I could just go one day and the world wouldn't even be a better place or a worse place, but it would just be the same. And I think a lot of that fear came from those expectations of, I'm going to change the world, I'm going to fix everything. But there was so much freedom that came from leaving that fear of oblivion. Because at the end of the day, like you said, you're making that impact on that one person. And you've been that one person for me for a while too, Lumi, because you always tell me that, like, the things that you do now, I've had an impact on, not to make it about myself, but that's kind of where that lies. And so popularity used to mean a lot. I think if I started this podcast, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I would have been like, the metrics, we need to get this more people to see this. But at this point, I'm so happy that we got even the reach that we have, because at the end of the day, like you said, if we hit one person, if one thing resonates true, if I've made one change in my life, if I've supported somebody through like one scenario, then I did my job. Because trajectory wise, any positive output you put out does a world of good. And that's my impact. Whether they know it's my name attached to it or not, that's my role. And I think there's such liberty that comes with letting go of choosing popularity, or choosing to be remembered. It makes life a lot less stressful too, man. Just hold true.
Right.
What a good question. I love this fucking deck, dude, because this is like what I use to like get kiddos and parents to open up about stuff. These are some really solid questions. If you could change one thing about your home to improve your life, what might it be?
Change my home to my home. What does that
That's
mean
your
by
definition
home?
of it.
Okay, I like that. I'm gonna go with that. Not my physical house, but my home, meaning my family and the people that I surround myself by. To impact my
To
life? Is that the
improve your
question?
life.
Improve my life. Well, if to improve my life, I think, gosh, this is unrealistic just by a little bit, but I wish I could just read people's minds because communication is so hard.
Yeah, it is.
Like I'm being I'm not even be like, oh, people are bad at it. Like it's hard. It's hard to feel so strongly about something and not being able to say something. Like we see this today in the media. It's so hard to say something and have it make the impact that you're trying to make, but it's really up to everyone's interpretation of how they see it. So if someone says something that is genuine to them, someone else could take it and break it through the mud, and it can easily become something that it's not. And I think that's the thing that I would like to, if I were to change anything about my home or my family or people, it'd be like, it would be so much easier if I knew what people meant and they knew how to say it in a way that was
Or
understandable
like
and stuff.
receptive,
And
how are you going to, how the most effective communication is how you can speak so that people can receive it, right? Because communication
right.
is only as good as it's being received.
And I'm not saying everything's all
No.
bad in La Casa de Lume.
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 It's Tuesday
Lume.
in it, Lume.
It's Tuesday in it, Lume. I'm not saying all the communication's bad. I'm just saying that just as much as we have that expectation to not walk on eggshells around certain people, that's not our job. It's also not everyone's job to understand exactly what people say when they say it.
Right.
Or not even that, but they misunderstand, you know?
Right.
So I don't expect people to walk on eggshells for me just because they're afraid of hurting my feelings. But I also don't think that it's fair for me to do the same. But at the same turn, I should be able to communicate properly about what message I'm trying to send without it being offensive. Because that's also on my part. It's not the receiver's job to try to navigate through messages that might be like, I guess, hard to understand, and then people get upset, and I think that's not fun. And I think communication is a skill that I would like to improve my house with.
My house.
But it's not a bad thing. It genuinely isn't a bad thing. It's a hard skill to for everyone to have and be on the same page. And it's a struggle that literally everyone deals with. I think it's just the more you grow up and you're like, what's happening? What is the weird tension that we have here? And it's all due to just the way we talk
Mm-hmm.
can change everything.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like that's one of the things. Even for me, I feel like I have a hard time articulating how I feel about things all the time.
Right. It's
So,
definitely like it's an art form. It's actually like a science. You can study it in like psychology. Positive communication was one of the subjects that I loved learning about because it literally changes how you speak, but it also changes how you're received. And how you're received is
mhm.
almost more important than what you say because you can say anything and have it be received anyway. But the more effective you speak is how more effectively people will listen and how more effective you can communicate. That's a good one. You picked how the fuck this is you're so good at this.
Who
Who are
are
you?
you?
Where am I?
it's the me practicing in my room all the time for when I'd be a popular actor because popularity means a lot to me. I'm kidding. um, no,
I was like
Did you ever do that
that
as a
oh
kid
dude,
though?
fucking I still do it now. Are you kidding?
Or like, what would I say if someone asked you this in a press or a
Dude, I
panel?
used to
A
pretend
press conference.
I a press conference. A press conference. I used to be
Oh,
shut up.
oh.
Shut up. I used to and everybody has I have no shame in what I'm about to say. I used to stand and like sing in my shower, but I'd pretend like I was pretending to be on stage, right? But I had like a phase
Mhm.
where I was really into like rap, like a really I mean it wasn't a phase, it's a
Oh
lifestyle. And I
wow.
used to rap like Eminem lyrics in the
Uh-huh.
shower because I was just like, one day I'm gonna get the opportunity to drop the fattest fucking bars, and people are gonna be like, "Woo!" and like everyone's gonna stand and clap. So I still do that.
Uh-huh.
There's no fucking shame in my game. I still do that shit.
Sam.
Sam, Zaddy.
That's
If I
awesome.
can improve my home, I bought clover for my front yard, and I'm gonna lay that this weekend. That was it.
Nice. I love the
The literal versus the.
the 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 duality of this fucking podcast, dude. I'm like, the water it tastes like water, and
Fuck
you're
yeah,
like,
concrete.
I got great. Yeah, like that's how I feel like right
Yeah,
now.
well, I don't want to make it too crazy deep. I mean, like, there's things that I would change in my current home is really old, so there's a lot of things to update, and I think a lot of my stressors come from hoping this house doesn't cave in on itself. It's not like in bad
Right.
condition, but being a new homeowner is kind of spooky. And I'm really excited about that
Mm-hmm.
fucking clover, man. I'm gonna lay clover in my yard instead of grass. I'm one of those fucking millennials, and I'm gonna lay that.
It's gonna
It's
be
gonna be
nice.
beautiful. I'm so excited. But I also don't have much to share about like the metaphysical of my house because I feel like the work that you're doing right now in your current home is work that I've been doing in my like lifestyle where I mean like I left
Mm-hmm.
relationships because of those lack of communication skills, and I put myself in positions where I wanted to be successful with those skills, and I've then found and then surrounded myself with people who also shared those values. So I feel like I'm at the point where I'm at the maintenance area where like I found the people I want to communicate with. I found how to communicate. We all fuck up. We're all gonna have bad days where we get triggered by certain things and that doesn't come through. But I feel like my household is so healthy at this point. Like it's
That's
it's
good.
just a matter of maintenance now. We're just maintenance. We're just keeping in. And Loche and I even do like daily regular check-ins with each other just to make sure we're on the same page. And we find ways to show each other we love each other all the time. And this is the communication that I built for myself by having those expectations. The same ones that you're working to build right now. So my answer would have been very similar. And because it was similar, I was like, clover. Got clover in my yard.
No, I like it. It's nice.
It's a good duality. I really like these questions because it's not just about the questions themselves, it's how you perceive them. And that's how you understand somebody's worldview, is how they respond by what they believe the question's actually asking. Questions up to interpretation. You know?
Mm-hmm.
What type of weather is closest to the way that you feel about your life? That's a cool one.
That is really cool. I've never heard a question like that. Snow.
Snow.
Snow weather. Snow
Why
weather.
snow?
Makes sense. I've always is. Oh, here we go. Let me put on my little cap again and tip my fedora at the ladies.
Go.
I've always felt a genuine connection to snow. Well, the reason being, I always thought snow was like, I think the thing is it's so, I'm gonna sound like a narcissist for like 2 seconds. It's so like beautiful and like so like cozy because you could be like in your little house and you're like, snow, oh, it's so cold, I'm toasty in the house. Like it's snow, right? It's beautiful. All the cool stuff happens in snow.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucking high maintenance. It's so high maintenance, dude. And that's not a bad thing. You got to get used to it, but I feel like there's a beauty to it, but there's also a complexity that I feel like people forget. It's almost like when you're at the beach and you're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go to the beach and walk on the beach," and then you sit in the sand for like 2 seconds. You're like, well, "Fuck the beach! Like, why am I at the beach? Like, and now I gotta walk in hot ass sand to like get to my car that I parked a mile away. I'm tired now. Like, this is
Or like
awful.
you go into the water
like,
to get the sand off your feet, and then you walk out of the water just to get more sand on your wet feet. You're like, damn it!
It's just like that's how I feel. Is that same feeling where it's like it's beautiful. There's so much beauty to it, but it's complex as shit. I think that's a really great way to sum up.
I think that's actually a really beautiful way to put it. I love that. That's a cool question because you can tell a lot from a person by that. I'm gonna use that for more things. There was a point actually, it was my last birthday last year when I was turning 24. It was this week we went camping, and
oh my gosh,
and
yeah.
me and Thunder and Loche went out hiking. Thunder being our little brother, well, my little brother, Lumi's older brother. So me, Thunder, Loche went hiking together while you and Mama Tex and Papa Lumi, one of Papa Lumi. You guys,
It's like
sorry.
bad drug.
Actually, I'm not sorry. Fuck that. You guys were at the campsite, or you guys were doing something, I can't remember. And we were hiking, and we took a couple pictures where I was sitting like behind a sunflower. And I saw my face is covered by a sunflower. It was really cool. It was a really cool picture. And there was a certain like nirvana that comes with being in beautiful sunny weather that has like a little bit of clouds to cover the sun every now and then, but the weather's like a good solid like 76 to 82, and it's middle of spring. It's not summer, so it's not like blazing hot yet, and you just get a little sun kissed. And like when you get back to like your tent or you get back home, you have like a little bit of a burn right around like your shoulder lines, from your t-shirts. That I think that level of peace, I think, is the weather that describes my life right now.
I like that.
It's just calm. I felt the most secure this last like 2 years of my life in everything, in every aspect, which is such a comforting thing to be in. I feel like there was a lot of storms, a lot of monsoon seasons, and now it's just calm. And there's something just so beautiful about that. What a cool question, dude. I love that. Okay, let's see what our next one is. If you could revisit one place that you've been, where would you go?
Oh, that's a good question too. If I could revisit a place. Oh, I know it. I have it. I didn't have it, and then I had it.
Can I go first?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
It would be Loche's parents' house in LA, in Los Angeles.
Nice. I need to go now.
You do need to go. I want you to go so bad. I was terrified to go the very first time. When I met Loche's parents, we were dating for maybe 4 months at the time. Well, I met his mom and his aunts and his grandmother and stuff, and we drove out to LA in like a night just to go visit for the weekend. And I was so terrified because I'm not a Spanish speaker despite my brown aesthetic. I do not speak Spanish.
Brown aesthetic.
I am completely brown head to toe, curly hair, the whole shtick, and I did not speak Spanish. And I was terrified because I've had other run-ins with previous family members who don't speak English and were very upset that I was one of those that didn't speak Spanish. So I didn't know what to expect. I mean, Loche is absolutely wonderful, so I should have expected that, but I was just so nervous. And when I got there, it was like being with our home, like that comfort of being home and secure, but in a house where I couldn't talk to anybody. Like, it was such a beautiful experience to like be with people who truly loved me for me. And I came in fucking hella ablaze with my stupid haircut and my goth like clothing and my crop tops and shit. And they were just like, "Oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, they're so wonderful." And they're just so comforting. They're such a beautiful place to be.
Mhm.
That's why whenever we go back, we're always like, "Let me come." We want you to see because it's such a beautiful experience to be out there. I would love to revisit again.
Yeah. I would want to go there too.
Please come with
That's really
us.
fun. I have a really I was just thinking about it today because we were talking about it. Very specific location. Um Grandma and Grandpa's old house in Texas.
Oh, on Marbach Street.
Yeah. I was very young. Like I didn't realize how I was still pretty young. Bleep. Mavelta's bleep. They don't live there anymore, but
Marbach is so like so specific,
it's just
and the
like
state is so
Jefferson
big.
Street. If you live on a Jefferson Street, like
One,
this
two,
video.
three, four, Internet Street.
But anyway, like I was thinking about their house because they had a really nice their formal living room, or just their living room, I suppose. Not the one in front of the door, but the one at the back of the house that was built onto the
The
house.
garage.
Beautiful. No. That's the front of the house. I'm talking about the one
Oh.
that's by the back door. The 20 by 20 room that's just back there.
Ooh, that is
And
not as
it's
big as you
18
remember it being.
no, it is. It is. Dad told me the fucking measurements today. Like that is 18-foot tall ceiling. Like come on. Like I don't know why I feel like I don't remember it as well because I was still a kid, but something about that is very nostalgic for me. Just everything about that neighborhood. And then I went back to this place in Texas. It's not at all like how I remembered. Like the place that their house used to be in. Well, I'll just say it. Should I say it?
Yeah.
They lived in San Antonio, Texas, and where they used to live was like San Antonio is literally just like one freeway that goes through like a couple of neighborhoods. Is what I felt like it was.
Right. It felt so
Like
small when we were little.
so small. The only way to get around is by this one freeway that you is like hectic to get on and off of, and it didn't seem the same. But if I were to revisit that, it would be what it looked like back when I was a kid, or at least the same nostalgic feeling it gave me when I was a kid.
That'd be
That'd
cool.
be a cool thing to revisit.
Their house is so
Also,
cool.
Disneyland. I'd
Also,
love to just go back to Disneyland because
Disneyland. I want to go to Disneyland so much. You know how fun it would be if we could all go together.
everyone's going to Disneyland. Well, I want to really bad. I told Mom how possible would that be to do this year in October time, because October time is my favorite time of year, and she said it probably not.
I'm
I'm so
thinking
sad
like
because
next
everyone
year.
I know is going to Disney, and I was supposed to go for my graduation, and that didn't happen. So
GG 2020.
2020, what was that year?
I don't
In some
remember anything.
cases, yeah, I'm like in some cases that year doesn't seem as problematic as this year has been, which is weird because then I think back of all the crazy shit that happened. I'm like, oh, 2020 is not a good
Yeah,
year.
we're almost in 2022, dude.
I can't even remember what happened in this year. I feel like everything doesn't feel real.
I've been stuck in
It's
like
very weird.
2012 since 2012.
Not the worst place to be stuck in.
It's not the worst. I'll take it. It's fine. How are we doing on time, Lumi?
Oh, we're probably could finish right now.
Do you want to do one final question?
Sure.
Alrighty. If you could describe the best day of your life, what would it be?
The if I could describe the best day of my life.
Yeah, what was the best day of your life?
That's. Do you know your answer?
Kind of. It's a blur, but I wanted to see if you had one.
I want to hear what your answer is.
This is gonna sound so fucking cheesy, but there was a few days in the early days that me and Loche started dating.
Mm-hmm.
And we started like kind of unofficially dating in October of 2019. And then we became official on Halloween. Like we made that like our official day. And there was a few weeks after that where we like went shopping and we got Starbucks. And like went grocery shopping for something, and then I went and hung out at his house, and we were just like hanging out on his twin size bed. He lived in like a part of his aunt's house. Like it wasn't a traditional room. And we were just like playing video games on his twin size bed, just fucking chilling. And just something about that day. And I got to see you and I got to hang out with oh, fuck. Thunder. And I can't remember the day specifically, but I just remember like stopping every 5 seconds and just going, "This is the best day of my life." Like I ate all my favorite foods in that day. It's like making me emotional, but like I just remember stopping, going, "This is it. Like this is what I worked so hard for." And it's so, and I tell Loche all the time, I'm so glad that we found this so early, and like I know there's gonna be better times to come, which is what makes me so excited. But I'm just so excited that I went through what I had to go through to get to this point because I'm just so fucking happy.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
That's mine. And then my quinceañera for mom. My quinceañera was tight. I had like 6
You had a lit
friends.
quinceañera,
It
yeah.
was pretty fucking lit. My dress is black and pink. It was cool. That was a cool day too because I got chicken nuggets after my mass, and I had to like take off like my fucking petticoat to get into dad's charger, and we went and got chicken nuggets by our house. It was great.
That's funny. Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, that was a
That's
lot
so
of fun.
funny. That reminds me of like I had a really fun around my quince too. I actually
Your quince was
uh,
fucking cool.
my quince was cool as hell. I was very anxious. I can it's sad because I can only remember being super anxious. But there something that was really cool about that is the day of my actual birthday, because my quince was on the 18th. The of 1 month, who knows? My quince was on the 18th, and and my birthday's on the 17th.
Lumi's an Aquarius.
But
I'll
fuck.
bleep it. I'll bleep it.
No, I don't care. I don't care. Basically, one of the streamers that I had watched. Oh my god, I can't believe I've been on Twitch for that long. But one of the streamers that I watched, he was up and coming. He's actually really big now. I just don't watch him as much. Sorry.
Oh, he was like the guy you would like talk to like pretty often, right?
Yeah.
Like you guys would Discord chat and everything.
Not in Discord. We
Oh,
didn't talk in Discord.
just
But
Twitch? Oh shit.
I would make comments in Twitch and he would remember me. And so I made jokes.
Cool.
And there's one time that like all of his friends are like, join us, be one of us. But at the time I was like 15. I'm like, ooh, once they find out more about me, they're not going to want to hang out with me. Really cool interactions though. Like his friends were like, oh, dude, you should like talk to us and play a game sometime because I just thought it was funny. Well, one day, this is really funny, but it's still nostalgic for me. They had a stream, so I was watching it up late, and I ended up falling asleep. But earlier in the stream, this dude said specifically that was my name back then because he goes, Lumi, I'm gonna sing you happy birthday. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. I fell asleep and they sang me happy birthday. I was asleep. I was asleep while they did it. And I went back and watched the VOD and I was just like, oh God, like, I can't believe I was asleep when they sang happy birthday to me. But they were cool. He's doing great now. Like, I'm
That's
so glad that
awesome.
he's been around for very long and he was really popular for one gimmick that he had going on. I'll just give it a hint. He did some voice acting stuff, and he like did a really good impression of some of the characters in like video games and shit. And that's how I got to know him. But that was really cool. That wasn't the best day of my life, but I want to say this about this because I cannot pinpoint one of the best days of my life. But I do want to say that I've been having such a great time being alive recently, more than any other time in my life. And if there is going to be one of the best days of my life, it's going to be now in these times because I am just so much more happier than I was. Like, I think I struggled a lot. I struggled so much. I feel like I never talked about how much I struggled, and people I went to school with probably didn't realize that I was struggling a lot, but I struggled so much and I was not happy. I was not a happy camper. And a lot of my memories, like sadly enough, are repressed with a lot of anxiety, and I can only remember how scared or how sick I felt
Right.
and a lot of times. Not fun, not great memories to have, and I felt bad for even the people that I experienced some of the great things with because it truly is it does like feel like a burden because at that time when you're a kid and you're high anxiety, like everyone thinks that you just it stigmatized all that stuff. So I can't really say that I've had the best day of my life. Like I can define one. Like I can't even think about one right now, but I will say if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen sometime soon. I can just feel it. Everything's been
Ah!
so good recently.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, so I can't wait to have the best days of my life. I can't wait to feel happy and not normal because there's nothing that was wrong with me before, but just better, healthier.
Yeah. I was gonna say too, just to kind of add on to what you were saying about how so many of your days were just so full of that anxiety. Knowing that was your experience and relating that to my experience, I can almost guarantee you the majority of people at some point in their lives have times like that. And that's what
Yeah.
makes me so empathetic to those kinds of behaviors because it's like, and I'm a little far removed from it because it's been a while since I felt that way. I think it's a pretty adolescent, like late adolescent, early adulthood type feeling. It's very common around that age group because there's just so much change happening all at once, your
Mhm.
worldview expands, your identity changes, your values start to develop, and it's a scary time to be alive. It really is, which is why it's also such a prominent risk factor group. But
Mhm.
that's what made me so empathetic to working with people who struggle like that because it's like I can remember just how blind I was in some of those moments and some of those experiences because of how terrified I was, how anxious I was. So it
Mhm.
just knowing that most people on some level are experiencing that helps empathize with those areas. I got to be better about it, but it does help.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I agree.
What a cool little chill cast. Thanks for doing a
I
duo
liked
with
it.
me.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I love how I get the time to hang out with you and just
Yeah, fuck all of
chill.
the other
It's
boys.
fun.
Who are they? I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
I don't even know them. I can't even think of their names. I'm kidding. No, much love to all of them. I hope you guys have been enjoying the stuff that we've been creating. We have a fun time doing it, and we hope that you have the same amount of fun watching it. Let's do a quickie checkout, and then we could say our goodbyes until next week.
Yeah, I am feeling a lot more comfortable and a lot more higher energy since starting this. I was really pent up before this. Um,
Quiet on set.
quiet on the set. No, I was really like upset before this because of just fucking life right now has been really hard to manage, and I've run into a lot of those triggers we've just recently talked about on the podcast now that
Uh huh.
don't reflect who I am now, and the fact that I'm kind of responding and reacting the way that I used to those triggers is also triggering because I'm like I don't like being that kind of person. So
Right.
that's been really bothering me. But now that we're done with this and we had a lot of cool combos, that was really cool. So I'm high and comfortable now.
Nice. I think I feel the same way. I feel so much better. I mean, I was already feeling pretty euphoric in the beginning. I feel even better. Those are some great questions. Gets the brain churning. I don't know.
Churning like butter. My brain
Sure.
has been churned.
Ew, ugh. I think I just hate the word churn now.
I know people talk about like moist and like squeegee being gross words. I'm sorry, have you heard the word
No,
churn?
churn.
It's like
churning.
chewing urn.
I used to say slippage.
Slip. Oh God. I couldn't even finish
Like,
saying
you know,
it.
when your jeans don't really fit, you know,
No.
is slippage.
Oh.
You never had a little slippage?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so like if you're trying to like if you're frying mushrooms in a pan, they a little bit of slippage.
And there's a little, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's also a little bit of slippage.
Like if you don't
It's
put
also like
butter in your pan to cook your eggs, that's lack of slippage.
Also, if
you just fucking ignore what I said.
if you, I didn't hear it. I was thinking about the next bit.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you didn't like that one. Sorry. I'll take it back.
No, it's fine.
I'll take it back.
Slippage is good.
Tough crowd.
Tough crowd.
Okay.
There's 2 of us here.
Okay.
Literally 2 of us. Well, we have some secret listeners. Guess who in the comments? Who are the secret listeners? And next week,
nope.
Next week we'll go. Like, wrong. Bing bong, you're wrong.
Go on, guess. Nope. Keep going.
Guess again.
Like, what? That's like so like abrupt.
It's just
like,
visceral, dude. Jesus Christ. Thanks for being a part of our Thursday. Thanks for coming to the Extra Friends podcast. Duo edition. This will probably be in its own category of like playlists and stuff. So if you just want duos of me and Lumi, Tex and Lumi and Tex.
Yeah.
It'll be just the duos, but we'll have them separate. We're gonna have 2 separate playlists. One's gonna be for Extra Friends with all the boys, and then this will be our Duocast. And our Duocast will be a little bit more chill. The boys will have a little bit more structure because we need it with the boys. Because there's just a lot more of us to keep in track. But thank you so much for taking a chance on this Duocast. I've really enjoyed it, Lumi. It's a lot of fun hanging out with you.
Yeah. It's so fun hanging out with you.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen our past videos, go ahead and watch them.
Don't watch them!
Don't watch them. They're not good.
Not worth it.
Some really good stuff. We talked about nostalgia video games in episode 3. And then we talk a little bit about
Hisora fell asleep in episode
Hisora 4. Fell asleep. And we watched Twilight and some other things. So just go check it out. It's fun. But with that being said, I am Lumi.
And I am Tex.
And thanks for being a part of our Thursday.
Good night.
Good night.